विधाता। जम्मू कश्मीर हिमाचल पंजाब राजस्थान हरियाणा दिल्ली यूपी उत्तराखंड बिहार गुजरात मध्य द्राविड़ आंध्रा तेलंगाना केरल कर्नाटक वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल तावी जमुना गंगा सरस्वती कृष्णा ब्रह्मपुत्रा उछल जल्दी तिरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जयो गाथा भारत सर्वधर्म नागरिक भाग्य विधाता। जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत संविधान भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जयो 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 हे जय भारत वंदे मातरम। सुजलम सुफलम मलया शीतलम श्याम साशिया श्यामलम मातरम वंदे मातरम। जय भारत जय संविधान जय भारत। Yes, respected brothers, sisters, all friends, Suraj Singh from Faridabad. Membership. This is 1st March 2020. Leap month has gone and new month has come. Yesterday was 29th February. We shall come in 24 now. And construction engineering, design engineering, a big profession which is very much tedious for common man to understand. Just for example, I am doing some drawings in engineering which were drawn manually, and actually that is what engineering is all about. Create on paper and then create in field. That is requirement of engineering. Create on paper and create in field. That is what engineering is all about. You have to think, you have to conceive, you have to make a picture in your mind and then transform that picture onto ground. That picture is very important from each and every viewpoint. These are some sketches and drawings. I am trying to bring to your attention what actually used to be engineering, factual engineering on paper and engineering on ground. We may say anything, somebody may say anything, but facts cannot be hidden. Facts remain that engineering is engineering. It remains factual. No one can change it. Style can be changed, work can be changed, but I'm just trying to show you how was work done manually, and that was also management. It's not that management has come now. Management is same, except the facilities have come up, computers have come up, fast working has come up, but world is same. Concrete is still concrete, brick is still brick, block is still block, and workers are still workers. No changes. These are structural drawings for certain projects, and these are manually drawn. These were manually drawn whenever were drawn. I'm not going to tell date on that because it will take time. I'm just trying to project what was done in those days of and this is what is beauty of past, that those today who cannot draw even manually certain sketches are also called engineers, and those who used to work a lot in estimation and designing and drawing were also called engineers. Only few I will show because my purpose is not this, my purpose is something else. I have already shown you before. Only few I will try to show each time because just for information purpose, my purpose is not application of design aid. My purpose is just informing that we should not forget past. We should not forget those days when we were too busy, so busy that a lot of time was spent manually on design, drawings, all disciplines of engineering for production of buildings and other goods or other deliveries, whatever you call it. And I think I should stop it after showing one or two more because enough information. A few sketches I'm showing, few drawings I'm showing, which is for all elevations and plans, architectural plans and structural detailing, and these were based on working distance method, not on limit state method in those days. Just for your information, it is not much fun, and it's actually must be well understood. show them later on. Few more, but now later. It will not be. Well, I'll continue with my management talk. I'll just try to show you some old drawings, and now it's management talk and my actual writings done before. Actual writings are done before. This is what it is called. Means informative writings regarding practical aspects which you may not find in some of the books. Which are all textbooks, and very few books are available from application viewpoint or engineering viewpoint. Engineering is required to be done in the field, not in home, and we have to actually place home, residences and all by buildings and structures, infrastructures for city and for nation. Engineer, as I already advised, and engineering means that product should be produced using mind, using certain formula, using certain theory, certain you can say process or certain technology. Technology has to be delivered in form of product. That is engineering. Whatever sciences were available, those sciences are used for purpose of society in form of production. That's called engineering. You keep in mind, just think of science doesn't give anything until you apply it for purpose of physical delivery. Sciences and engineering have total relations with each other. Science generates, innovates, while engineering applies and it delivers for use. That is what engineering is all about. Science is to know system, what system actually is. Science is not making anything original, but it just understands system provided by nature. That system, when is understood, it's called science, and when it is transformed into physical use, it's called engineering. Science and engineering are both in same family, in relation. Engineering means application of mind onto scientific answers, to shape to physical use, practical use. Otherwise, science got no value if it's not engineered. Means science is engineered, and that engineer is not degree, diploma or something. I'm not talking about that. There were many people in past, many intellectuals in past who did not have degrees, diploma or something, but they produced miracles. They produced miracles. Of course, they could not understand economy, they could not understand the optimum use of metal, but they delivered. And evidences still exist today all over the world. You go to whatever country you want, you will find certain ancient cultures there. So is engineering. So is delivery. Technology, science, technology, engineering and use. This is what connection is. Thinking, research, science, application of science which is called engineering, engineering and market. Means you have to sell your product. And sometimes they all call sales engineering. They call some social engineering. So they have taken this word of engineering to that also. So there is a system. When we call social engineering, this means society is a system and we are working on that system. We work on that system to make it further useful. So that is social engineering. I am not trying to tell you basics of that, but I am trying to tell you that don't take it extraordinary, take it inclusive of society. Engineering. There are social sciences, there's political science, economical science, arts, and all those fields are there. Those fields are hyper, those fields are hyper both. Those fields are for development of mind, but practically they do nothing. What does political science give? You know, it is nothing. Because politics is something else. What does art give? Just application of mind, knowledge of mind, your mind operates and that's it. Various ways are there. An artist doesn't need any degree that thinks, imagines, imagination is something else. What I'm talking about engineering. Engineering means we have to produce something that humankind or non-humankind both can use. Houses are built for human beings as well as for animals. We build cow shelters, we build camel shelters, we build dog centers, we build many, Those are all houses. So, housing or commercial or industrial or institutional or whatever work we do, infrastructural work, railway line, sewer line, water line, rainwater line, or utilities in plants areas, communication system, transportation system, whatever we do, all fall under gross domain of engineering. So what I'm talking about, basics, that is building, infrastructural buildings, residential buildings, without which we cannot do anything. And what I'm going to talk about is infrastructural facilities, industrialization, industrial projects. I was interested to talk about what engineers and society are, what relations they have got. Are they apart or they are together? Are they distant or they are close? That is what. And then how to manage, how can they manage together? How can they manage together? That is very significant. Engineer and society both are clubbed together because society is provided on earth by God, but that society has to live comfortably, a good life, a comfortable life, and that is called urbanization and conversion of rural life to urban life or suburban life. Both are these. We have to develop from forest to city. That is called conversion of wood into city, capital, states, whatever you can say. A sentence cannot do it. This is just a sentence I am saying. But lot is done to achieve this. Lot is done. We may say that this is life. You are going to, spend your whole life earning for what? For a house. You do whole life, you spend whole of your life earning for education, for moving ahead, to avail comfort in life and live a decent life. All that is due to what? Due to technology, due to science, due to engineering, and due to development. You get it. So, where does engineer stand? Engineer we call a person who uses mind, trained mind, to change everything from one stage to another stage, and then from that stage to further another stage. This sequence goes on and on and on. Evaluation of history, evaluation of society also speaks that whatever today we are doing, that is not answer final one. There will be further development. But whatever we are doing, I am confining to that. How we can do it best way. We are doing that, indeed. but how can we improve that? And improvement is quality, improvement is standard, improvement is way of thinking, improvement is what we like, improvement is to what standard we want to live, improvement is what is comfort value. All that we have to see, keeping along with natural provisions, natural gifts. Nature must be kept in our view while we do something. Whatever we do, we have to keep all these views into our original view. Engineer means a person who has earned great mind, who has earned experienced hands. Those are called great hands. If engineer can do that, do not relate it to degrees or diplomas. It's mind that is powerful, that can think, that can calculate, that can imagine, that can scale out and do something on ground for use of people for their better livings. And originally that person, that engineer has to deliver you a small room to live. A new baby is born in certain room, which is a product of engineering. Same way, that boy, that girl, that baby uses health services, that's a product of medical science. Therefore, we consider it socially related. We are socially related. Of course, we are socially distanced, but we are socially related, engineering wise. And when we talk of construction, management, and whenever we work in field, we take pride that we serve society. Society may take that pride or may not take that pride, that is up to society. But once you are in engineering, you should not think of something very, very attractive. You should think, particularly when you are in civil field, civil construction, civil engineering field, or structural engineering field, you should not expect much from your service, from your job, because people cannot evaluate your services rightly. And I don't expect that they should evaluate, because they are not sure what you are doing. They only see by eyes, not by mind, not by conscience. Well, no problem. Ultimately, you don't forget that you shall be required there, irrespective of what state of affair is, irrespective of who are there to oppose you, irrespective of what you are happy or not, or they are happy or not, you shall be required there in whatever position. So money is criteria, but not exclusive criteria, because your money, whatever you are paid, it has no relation to what you are doing. You are doing that much, others cannot do. Those who are not engineers, they can spoil that, but you are going to do in a correct way. Therefore, management of construction, management in designs, management infrastructure are very important topics that must be kept on conferencing all time, because technologies keep on changing and systems keep on changing, and we have to keep updated on those. Whatever today we have, 20 to 30 or 40 years back, if you see, those were not available. Today we have systems, softwares, hardwares, communication system. If you go back to 40 years, you would not find that. In 1980s, 1970s, there were nothing as such. Not even calculators were available. We used to write with fountain pen or pencils or something else, or pen. Those today are different. Today we have software, we have computer, we have laptop, we have everything. So technology has given us that also. So whatever we do, it depends upon what time you are there. But you remember, in your whole life there shall be transition. Today you are using software and hardware and all laptops and everything, all services. Maybe after 20, 30 years, these would be dreams, this will be history, you will find something else. So we are. I used to write on slate and takhti. Nothing was there. I didn't see even tube light for until I was 20 years. It depends. We used to do every calculation manually. Today there is nothing as such. People use Excel or something else, immediately calculate lakhs and lakhs of data. That is called change. But remember, mind cannot change. Your thoughts cannot change. Your brilliance cannot change. There can be speed in construction indeed, this can be fast track is construction, but philosophy is same, theory is same. Weight is same, force is same, and of course human is same. Speed and velocity and acceleration can be different, but way is same, route is same. You required air 500 years back also, and today again you need air. Without it you cannot live. Yes, air is polluted, so you are using polluted air. You have no option. You have to use it, because we are responsible for that. Human has some tendency, human spoils everything. Human spoils everything for its needs, and human is responsible for everything. So same thing, if you cannot manage properly, whatever work you do, you will spoil it. And if you manage it properly, you will systemize it. You want systemization or you want deterioration, you have to decide. Being a citizen, being a human, being an engineer, you have to decide what you want to do. You have to decide what you learned in your program of education. You want to implement this, you want to learn that, or you want to forget that. Or you want to move in same water as others are moving, or you want to move in opposite direction, you have to decide. Remember, opposition is very difficult. Moving in same flow is very easy. If you are moving in flow direction, it's very easy, but damning yourself, acting as weir yourself, gate yourself, closer yourself is very struggling management. So those who struggle, who struggle as such, they are counted in, they are noted in. Those who flow in same direction, nobody notes them. Stone, timber flows in same direction, flowers flow in same direction, dead bodies flow in same direction. Nobody points about that. But when you go oppose flow, you will find different shores, you will find change in routes of rivers, you will find many other developments. Same applies to us, we people. And particularly I am talking of our nation, Bharat, India, where we say we people having solemnly resolved to constitute this country, Bharat, India, into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic for various benefits and securities. Here is a problem in our country. Problem is not science, problem is not engineering, no, nothing is a problem. Problem is our mindset. Problem is our habits, our working culture, our thinking culture. Our thinking culture, our dead mindset, our polluted mindset. Because we are not proactive, we are forced to do something, only then we do. Just like we beat donkey, only donkey walks, otherwise no. So we are mules and donkeys in some considerations. I don't know reason for that. Either we are used to that culture, that habit, or we are sleeping always. We are always sleeping. Mentally sleeping, conscious-wise sleeping, no worry at all. Right? Engineer, if mixes with culture of society, this means that person is no more engineer. Why I am saying? Because engineer means changer. Engineer means a changer, an agent of change. Engineer represents change. Otherwise, there is no meaning of engineer. Whoever engineer there is, you represent change. If you cannot change, you are not an engineer. You are an ordinary person. You are a shopkeeper, you are a milk seller, you are a hawker, you are cleaner, you are peon. Same, no difference. If you cannot change, that is you. And if you can change, you are professional leader. You are society leader. Because you are leading a change. And remember, change is a part of total cycle. In one cycle, there will be many, many changes. Change is a must. Sun goes, darkness comes, then sun goes and sun comes. Change is a must. Change is a must because you have to live. You have to develop. And if you cannot change, you always say, oh, this has happened, this has been happening for long, what can I do? Then you are not an engineer. You have no right to say that what has been happening so far I am doing. Forget that. Learn from that only, nothing else. Past is teacher, good or bad it is. It teaches you what was right, what was wrong. And you have to adopt whatever you want. Whatever you intend to do, that's your job. Do not say, I am dependent on past. Do not say that. Because you do not represent past. You are going to represent future, not even present. You are going to create future for people of whatever country. You create something that shall be used in future. Future standardization you are doing today. That is called engineering. That is called genius work. Engineer can think how this structure shall behave in coming 100 years. Engineer can think how many years it will take for this reservoir to settle in, to fill in. Engineer can think how many years this road shall not work for after that. Engineer can think that way. Engineer can think how can I protect this structure from application of the impact of fire, from impact of sun, from impact of storm, from impact of such earthquake. Engineer can think that way. Engineer think when this building can sink, when this building can settle. Engineer can think about soil, how it can behave. Engineer can think about this soil is good or bad. How can I change it? How can I improve it? How can I use best to my advantage of building? That is what engineer can think. Engineer can think how this load can be spread on this building, distributed on this building. Engineer can think how these members of building would work together, unity in unity. That's what engineer can think. If you can think here, you can imagine, and you can do that on paper, and then in field, why don't you think that you are a changer? You are a changer, you have to change. If you can change so much, you can change society also. You can change culture also, working. I'm not talking of social, that culture, I'm talking working culture. You can change everything. You can write your changes. You can ink them and tell others, this we have done. Why limit to technicalities only? That is what we like. That's also management. You think I always criticize. It's not criticism. It's an explanation to inculcate into minds what different this profession is about. This engineering profession never ends. It continues moving. It has no stop end. There is no stop end in engineering. Even if smallest structure you make, it's different world. Even if smallest structure you make it, you find difference. because you are going to use technology on original materials available in nature. Remember, you are going to use rock, existing rock, into building. You are going to use that rock's dust. You are going to use sand below available in river. You are going to use sand available in dunes. You are going to use natural water. You are going to use air, positively or negatively. You are going to consider sun rays. You are going to consider carbon dioxide. You are going to consider moisture. All these you consider into your designs and implementation. This means you have to consider too much. People are not aware, I know. General public is not aware, I know. They can never be aware because we are not telling them. We cannot tell them. For people, engineering is only that which is seen. That's it. A machine works in a workshop or in a factory. Public knows, yes, this is machine, but public rarely understands how many parts in this are available and how many locations these parts were manufactured and at how many locations these parts were designed and assembled. People do not take that into consideration. People see construction of some building is going on, but they don't understand what is behind that scene. They don't know how much work has been done behind that. They see, yes, see they are excavating, they are working, and in 2 months, 3 months, 1 year this building will be there, and they know that much. Behind that, what is background, what is its power, how many disciplines, how many people work there, they do not understand. So this is not their fault, this is our fault. Because we keep everything to ourselves, we never try to tell people in simple language. That's true. You should remember that you are dealing with public who know nothing about your terminology. You are dealing with workers who do not know about your terminology. They have their own words, their own terminology, and you have to deal with them if you want to take work from them. And if you don't deal with them, then you will not be able to do work because you will explain your way, they will understand nothing. They will laugh. Simple. We are talking of ISO 9001. Yes, we are talking of that. We talk of that. We are talking of OSHA. Yes, we talk of OSHA. We talk of so many safety, quality and workmanship and all that. Yes, we talk of that because that's a part of profession. And not only this, in every electrical you talk of this, mechanical you talk of that, and every, it applies everywhere in some way or other one. So, this means we have added responsibility, we have something else in our profession. Whatever we learn in university, in whatever degree, that is only 20%. Yes, 20%, not more than that. Because we learn so many subjects, but in our operations, in our field, we are not going to use them all. We use them only those subjects which we are working with. A person who works in structural engineering, structural steel, whole life, he sometimes doesn't know anything about timber work or stone work or RCC. A person who all time works in sewer line, water line, etc., in water supply department, sewage disposal department, sewage treatment department, he knows nothing about building construction. This happens. So how many subjects we learned in our education, very few are used in practical life. And out of that very few we know very little, maybe 30%, and we use that. But remaining we use from experience. Experience is big teacher. Experience is big professor. We learn from that. That experience is unlimited, massive, and we have to respect that. That is what I am trying to impress upon you that practical engineering is much more powerful than theoretical academic engineering. That academic engineering you lock after passing, but this door is opened when you are in field, and you know plus and minus, multiplication and division of that knowledge only in field, because you start learning there only, not in your university. You are using many formulas there in every subject. Those formulas have got no meaning on site. Yes, their formulas have meaning in designs, but design is different. Unfortunately, every intellectual, every engineer is interested in design only, because they do not want to stand in sun, they do not want to struggle in field, they want to remain on computer only. Well, it's up to them. I cannot say they are good or bad, because they are professionals. They have same authority and power as I have. They are brilliant, intelligent scholars, leaders in field, but they are not good coordinators, unfortunately. They are not good planners that way. They want to confine to room, and they don't keep distant. They don't even take feedback from those people who deal inside on the field. Well, they should learn. They are also intellectual. They can interact with people. Then this field is like that. Without interaction, you do not know what you are going to do. Therefore, management of engineering is very deliberately explanatory. It's not simply management. It is actionable management. It's management that requires initiative and philosophical decision, aim, target, and achievement of target. Initiation is there, development is there, arrangement is there, target focus is there, and working is there. This is completely different. I was talking about project management, and which is linked to IS 9000, of course, and various. I'm going to do that way. I was talking about project management, and with that I would say I'll just go back to that one. What I was there, I was talking about in that project management. I was talking about monitoring this project stages. First, I remind you, I refresh you that initiation, planning, execution or implementation, monitoring and updates, completion or closing, and administrative controls are all part and processes of management of construction management, which is followed by maintenance of that structure. Let's say initiation, planning and execution. During execution, you have to monitor and update, and then completion and closing, and this complete process is there. So initiation, planning, execution, implementation, monitoring, updates, completion, closing, administrative controls, etc., etc., and then maintenance. This is what we understand about this, right? Let me blow it up a little. Yeah, I blow it up so I can comfortably do it. Yes. Now I was talking about this monitoring and updates, continuous processes during project life cycle. It's very, very comfortable that we talk together and understand each other and this process. This is very interactive, means work supervision and monitoring are carried out by all parties concerned. These processes are done as part of quality assurance or controls, schedule controls, progress or status control, cost control, applications of various updates, understanding various non-compliances and non-conformances, understanding risk factors and their implication, mitigation of risk factors, etc. This stage is dominant for pinpointing flaws occurring to project performance as obstacles. Obstacles are required to be eliminated or adjusted for measuring planned value of performance or ascertaining measurement as desired. Again, work supervision, work supervision and monitoring are carried out by all parties. Remember, all parties. This is engineer is there, contractor is there, subcontractors are there, vendors are there, workers are there, machines are there, and of course all other those, for example, statutory bodies, authorities, which are not directly related to you but are related indirectly. Whole market is related, laboratories are related, and so forth, so on and so forth. So, work supervision and monitoring are carried out by all parties concerned. These processes are done as part of quality assurance or controls. Schedule control, progress or status controls, cost controls, applications of various updates, understanding various non-compliances and non-conformances, understanding risk factors and their implications, mitigation of risk factors, etc. This stage is dominant for pinpointing flaws occurring to project performance as obstacles. Obstacles are required to be eliminated or adjusted for measuring planned value of performance or ascertaining measurement as desired. So, means planning is there, work, physical work is there, planning is there, quality is there, safety is there, everything is there. Complete mix up in execution or prosecution of activities, and that is major part of project. Because if no prosecution, no execution, nothing, no monitoring, project doesn't exist, remember. Then we are talking of deliver, because this work which we do, this is actually nothing but deliverables. We deliver something. Maybe people don't understand what delivery means. We are going to give living being to someone, that living structure to someone, use it, and that's called deliverables. So deliverables or work done are, all deliverables or work done are inspected by contractors, project discipline, site engineer, and project or discipline quality engineer in all respects to meet requirements. These deliverables would constitute almost all documents as well that scope required. These documents require inspections, examinations by competent key personnel for submission, authorization. All approved works have to be documented in various approved format, and that are done. All or part of deliverables in line with the agreed test check percentage are inspected by consultants and engineer over contractors quality engineer. These deliverables would constitute almost all documents as well as scope required. These documents require inspections, examinations by competent key personnel for approval, authorization for permanent reference documentation. All approved works have to be approved and documented in various approved formats and transmitted to executor or contractor for permanent record. All variances are noted, documented, and their adjustments are applied. Corrective works are documented for records. The schedules are regularly revised as updates. Time-based lines are either maintained or revised accordingly. Cost-based line also is maintained or revised as case would require. All site approvals are based on such inspections by various specialists as well as discipline engineer for consultants over inspections done by contractors and engineers. These approvals could be for civil works or for allied services. All tests require approvals. All factory as well as site tests require approvals. Services installations require testing, and various fixes often first fix, second fix, and final fixing followed by testing and commissioning, before that pre-commissioning. So as work progresses, work progress is measured by planning engineers or valuers to compare with time schedule. Formula to measure progress has to be agreed between engineer and contractor during post-contract and planning stage. Progress can be activity-based or cost-based. Actual project status can be defined exclusively be cost reflection of earned project. Activity-based projection shall reflect direction status, but activity-based status of progress is helpful to physically control progress to keep in line to time schedule. And there are work changes also. All changes are issued by engineer. All changes are issued by engineer or consultant in conjunction with client or based on contact's opinion. Work changes are expected to be within limits of acceptances. Changes may be required to meet product requirement or to suit function the project would provide. Basic project cannot be changed. Certain requirements may be allowed. During scope formation charter, all requirements should have been listed in all respects. Only oversights or some functional changes may be added or changes. Keeping continuation of incorporation of changes may not allow project to finish that in interest of neither party. So we can say what can changes do? Changes can affect cost as deletion or addition. Changes can also affect prospects of procurable material as well as those already procured. Already procured can be rendered out of use. Or then it is scope change can generate risks for change on time schedule as well as changes cannot be made on long lead items, or if necessary to be made could be made in early stages of project life cycle. Cost, time and quality, which are very important factors, can be severally affected by certain changes that need attention by engineer or client. Better to avoid changes to finish project in time. Changes are not welcome by contractor as well as by engineer or client. Investment made on project needs return by opening to use after commissioning only. Time to close out project is one of extremely significant factors. So then payment certificates, all that. Now before going further on this, payment certificates means work payment certificates details are proposed by contractor's quantity surveyor in conjunction with project engineer or project manager. All works done and all changes approved and carried out are required to be projected on payment certificate documents. Work payment certificates are reviewed by consultants or engineer or quantity surveyor in conjunction with consultants, project engineer or project manager. Payment certificates are sent to engineer or client for approval so that PC is handed to contractor. In case any liquidated damage approved to be recovered should be included in relevant portion of certificate to allow deductions from prime cost sum. No liquidated damages can be recovered in case an extension has been granted to contractor. Now revised time schedule. Revised time schedule. Project manager in conjunction with planning engineer has to propose revised plan as updates to engineer for approval during various stages of project life cycle. Time schedule should be as explanatory as practically convenient and manageable. It should be devised in such a way that all stakeholders and personnel involved must be able to understand without elaborate explanation. All work breakdown structure defining works packages required, resources, etc. should be indicated clearly, leading to cost of package. It's suggested that up to level 5 time schedules would work better on complex projects. Then engineer has to approve all time schedule. All time schedule and updates at all stages of project life cycle from time to time. Schedules up to level 5 may be revised and approved for ease of time and cost controls during project life cycle. Communication to stakeholders. Now I am going to result communication to stakeholders. What is actually is all comprehensive records from foregoing procedures from processes are sent to head office by project manager to apprise stakeholders of project real progress status, giving steps being taken for further improvement or updates. Some of documents required to be furnished regularly should be defined in project plan or with company quality manual. These could be scope updates, means there could be change in the scope that could be updated, minutes of meetings, progress reports, payment certificates, approved organizations requirements and updates, finances to be arranged, vendors payment issues, cash flow issues, support from other projects, workforce requirements, fast tracking of project progress in certain areas due to various constraints. Let me repeat this because you have to convey it to your stakeholders, your persons who are responsible in your company. Some of documents required to be furnished regularly should be defined in project plan. Project plan, you have to define what you want to submit them or within company quality manual. These could be scope updates, minutes of meeting, progress reports, payment certificates, approved, organizations requirements and updates. Finances to be arranged, vendors payment issue, cash flow issue, support from other projects, workforce requirement, fast track of project progress in certain areas due to various constraints. Requirement of financial requirement of financial provisions need needed requirement of financial provisions needed according to updates. Cash flow is also reflected. Additional resources are requested to meet target dates or in case of redundant resources withdrawal from site is requested. All other important aspects about project success as well as project problems are being encountered. So ingenious communication to client. Ingenious communication to client actually. Engineers communication to client will discuss in short here. All comprehensive records from foregoing processes are sent to owners. All comprehensive records from foregoing processes are sent to owners, head office by engineer. Resident engineer or consultants to apprise client or owner of project real progress, status, giving steps being taken for further improvement or updates. Now, steps required to reinstate project loss status are recommended within report. This flow of information should be regular based on significantly selected items of documents to be communicated. Significant documents or project records could be minutes of meetings, progress reports, material deliveries, expected deliveries, delivery problems, workforce strength, time schedule updates, status of project performance, updates, recovery plan requirements, payment status, cash flow status, engineering and technical progress, feedback, level of quality performance, safety management status, projected budget, spent budget, escalation possibilities, changes, recommendations on scope, lessons to be learned by owner, lead, lessons to be learned by engineer, lessons to be learned by contractor. All these, if something is there, we have to send to engineer. Now, lessons learned from mistakes and incorrect decisions. This is also very significant. Now, we'll just say certainly mistakes are prone to occur when various different background personal work as team members, supervising workforce from various cultures or background. These lessons learned and records must be published from time to time during currency or stage of project life circulation. A publication must be sent to all stakeholders and team members. Records must include cause of mistakes during performance, corrective steps taken, or required updates made to all relevant knowledge areas, project time lost, resources lost, relevant personal responsibilities, and how can such mistakes how can it can be avoided, how such mistake can be avoided in future from revisiting current others and future projects. Uh, we'll talk of this now. Sorry. Now, certain mistakes are caused due to human errors, while others are caused due to incorrect instructions or non-availability of right information for disseminations. Incorrect shop or working drawings are approved and executed that do not match requirement fit outs. Proper curing is not done in concrete when concrete fails during testing. Then there is certain mistakes are caused due to lack of coordination on site and also in design offices among various disciplines. Experiences support an argument that discipline engineers do care about their own disciplines but apply lower degree of care for interfaces, resolutions for other disciplines. Such working situations lead to incompatible drawings, resulting in incorrect interfaces on execution front. Sometimes miscommunications may cause mistakes. Say approved for construction drawing is not handed over to site engineer concerned while work carried out on superseded drawings. Sometimes mistakes are caused due to non-availability of clear detailed designs, while urgency necessary to carry out works in line to similar details available from other areas of project. Non-serious site engineers and foremen can make such nonsense on projects. Sometimes negligence on work performance can cause mistakes as well. Specification is not studied properly and trade known practice is applied by foremen without consulting project site engineer. Quantity of concrete, quality of concrete is not calculated, quantity of concrete is not calculated properly and order placed for RMC without verification. Delivery of additional truck made on site that can cause loss of materials. Sometimes Sometimes incorrect understanding of reports on project scope may cause havoc on project execution. The scope may not be clear. We may not explicitly define certain parts of project, but due to urgency of requirement on plan, works are carried out. Sometimes after works are done, sometimes works after works are done or are being done, drawings are changed due to constraints on required specifications of certain equipment. This usually happens on plants projects where design of equipment may not be known till time when a foundation is finalized. Redesign of foundation would be required to keep in line with machine parameters. Then, due to whatever reason, this state leads to mistaken execution of for which rework is required or change is made, requires recording, lesson learnt. These changes may impact cost, quality as well as time in entirety on certain cases. The lessons are meant for all team members, supervising foremen as well as consultants and engineers. These mistakes must be recorded with due value and additional application of value to avoid such mistakes in future. So part 10, now we'll talk of this part 10 presentation later on. Now because we are interested in quality management and I was talking about NXSL, high structural, yesterday I explained about this NXSL parts, its classes, its clauses. There are 10 clauses in this I explained yesterday, and those were clause 1, scope, clause 2, narrative references, clause 3, terms and definitions, clause 4, context of organization, clause 5, leadership, and class 6, planning, class 7, support, class 8, operations, and class 9, performance evaluation, and class 10, payment, improvement, yeah. So scope, normative references, terms and definitions, then context of organization, then you can say leadership and planning, and operation, and then support, operations, and performance organizations. We discussed a lot. So this lot was discussed, and this is informative one because this gives us a lot, and what it gives us actually, we can say that class 1 gives the scope, which is, if you know, sets out intended outcomes, scope of work. It says scope sets out intended outcomes of management system. Outcome are industry specific and should be aligned with concept of organization. Class 4, context of organization. Then class 2, this is class 2 normative references, provides details of references, standards of publication relevant to particular standard. Then it is clause 3, which is terms and definitions. Details of terms and definitions are applicable to specific standard or indeed to any formal related terms and definition standards. Then Excel. Now the clause 4, which is context of organization, very important one, and there are 4 clauses in this. One is understanding organization and its context. 4.2 is understanding needs and expectations of interested parties, and 4.3 is determining scope of management system. 4.4 is management system. A flagstone of a management system, clause 4, determines why organization is there. As part of answer to this question, organization needs to identify internal and external issues that can impact on its intended outcome, as well as all interests of parties, and their requirements are it also needs to document its scope and set boundaries to management system in line with business objectives. And then 5 is leadership. This comprises 3 subclauses: leadership and commitment, then policy, then organization roles, responsibilities and authorities. And then it is planning, clause 6, which is action to address risks and opportunities, and 6 to management system objectives and planning to achieve it. It says clause 6 brings risk-based thinking to forefront. Once organization has highlighted risks and opportunities in clause 4, that is text of organization, it needs to still stipulate how these will be addressed through planning. Planning phase looks at what, who, how and why when these risks may be addressed. Proactive approach replaces preventive action and reduces need or corrective action. Later on, particular focus is also placed on objectives of management system. These should be measurable, monolithic, monitored. These should be measurable, monitored, communicated, aligned to policy of management system. Then we have to support this class on resources and competence and awareness, communications, documentation and information. Then the operation clause 8 and this planning and control, and then it is performance evaluation. And what we have to see this monitoring means monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation, internal audit and management review. And then clause 10 is improvement. This is what is about, SL it is. This is definition of SL. So before that, now I'll go to project stages include, but part 10 I was talking about management. Before this about management, and this part 10 I was talking about that, and let me finish it fast. Let me stand because it's now a little better. Stand and read as much as possible. I will read. Now, as those path in project stages or processes include, it is in project management file. Its continue means we have seen project stages and processes. These are initiation, planning, execution or implementation, monitoring and updates, completion or closing, and administrative controls, followed by maintenance, right? Now, what actually it says? Now, completion or closing of administrative controls. Completion or closing and administrative controls are carried out by all parties concerned, and mechanical or practical completion or closing, let us this way. Mechanical or practical completion is contractor is required to complete and hand over deliverables to client through engineer or consultant. All defined constituents of scope should be completed mechanically in all respects before handing over is effected. I am saying mechanically, it can be practically also. Okay. All defined constituents of a scope should be completed mechanically in all respects before handing over is effected. All items must be carried out satisfactorily in compliance to drawings, designs and specifications. Verification must be done for ensuring completion of all required items. All procedurals and contractual documentations must be carried out satisfactorily and in indicated duration only. Approved by engineer, all snags should be cleared satisfactorily and approved by engineer. Snags or punch list, whatever you may say defects also. All non-compliance reports should be closed. All works approvals recorded should be sequenced and systemized on soft and hard files duly targeted. All as-built documents must be completed duly approved by engineer. As-built documents, and you should know what is as-built document. As built means you have a scheme, you have a design, you awarded that to do it, and during working, during execution, doing practical work, we find there are some changes agreed by both parties, by designer and by contractor, and those changes you can say are recorded in red lines on those design drawings. We record in red lines. These are called red lines drawings, and these are really approved by engineer and by contractor. We do this way. This is a part of record. These red lines are recorded, and these red lines and then shifted to design drawings. In final way means we incorporate those red lines into design drawings which are originally built, originally produced for work, but they are on different changes, certain changes, middle levels, and these are recorded there on design drawings, and these are sealed as built drawings for approval, and then as built. As built drawing or record drawings, you can say this. What is that? So it is all non-compliance reports should be closed. All works approved records should be sequenced and systemized on soft and hard files, duly tagged. All as-built documents must be completed duly approved by engineer. It's not drawings alone. I am saying there could be changes in specifications as well, or there can be changes also the contract technical document which can be produced as such that we use this on project. Alright, then take over specification, take over certificate. Client is required to take over deliverables from contractor through engineer or consultants. Engineer or consultant must make sure that all submissions made by contractors in this regards and as explained in mechanical completion or physical completion are verified and approval of all such documents issued. Documentation at closing out is voluminous task and therefore must be supervised properly as it involves all disciplines affected on project. Now dossiers. Actually, we use term this dossier, but this is, you may say, completed documentation. We call dossier in language, though dossier is something related to courts, criminal courts, where you can say prosecution submit certain charge sheets or some related documents as dossiers for consideration. Well, all documents relevant to the project, to project execution and supervision history and required to support operations of project when in service, all entitled package of dossiers, though this term should be used in criminal cases, but it is used howsoever. So no big deal. All documents which are used on project are in package form submitted to engineer for purpose of records. Then transfer of titles. All equipment and materials procured on contract are done in name of contractor, which means contractor is legal owner of all such procurements items. Contractor is paid by contractor is Contractor is paid by owner for all such procurements. This requires transfer of titles of all such items from name of contractor to name of owner or client through technical legal approval by engineer or consultants. All documents of such items are done on the signed formats and made a part of dossiers. Transfer of technology. Transfer of technology, use or license to use technology. On processing plants, though we have not discussed yet, but we will discuss in next one. We are still talking on buildings and general construction, even then for information. On processing plants particularly, operations of chemical process trains. Chemical processes trains means sequences of vessels together in one row is called train. So on processing plants particularly, operation of chemical processes, trains shall serve production on future for a defined number of years per contract conditions. Since such processes designs constitute copyright, design right by technology providers through project designers, a license to use technology exclusively for build and delivered project should be issued to owner or operator, client as a part of dossier as well as a contract condition compliance. Now administrative control. In addition to executing works and managing technical controls on whatever project, contract administration is also conducted by engineer or consultants as well as by contractor in parallel to execution, and in fact it works as a part on all stages on contract or project life cycle. All project contracts are based on documentary form. All project controls are based on documentary form, duly executed after being constituted with hundreds of contract conditions, both general as well as in form of special applicable clauses. These may or may not relate to various forms of FIDIC, but even then are relevant and legally applicable. All conditions or clauses must be operated accordingly during project life cycle at right point of time by both contractor as well as by engineer, because missing such operations could mar completion scope of project and affect release of payment certificates. Similar operational requirements would be expected of all record vendors and subcontractors involved on project. Responsibilities of execution by subcontractor or vendors shall ultimately be shared fully by contractor in light of contractual construction or interpretation. All contracts do include on their specifications as well as indicative bills of quantities, documents, certain bills indicating heading as preambles. Preambles contain references to various activities that shall support scope components. Execution for project. Particular descriptions indicate overhead activities and various types of sundries expenditure. Preambles guidance to contractor. These may include, for example, provisions of site establishment for contractor, site offices for engineers, all facilities for establishment and camping of personnel and staff, testing of materials, expenditures, staffing expenditures, security, watch and ward expenditures, safety, health and environment expenditures, third-party insurance liability expenditures, works insurance expenditures, expenditures meant for mobilization and demobilization, expenditure meant for prevention of works, expenditure meant for all activities relevant to implication of existing laws, expenditure applicable for unforeseen circumstances. Let me repeat. This preamble guidance is This may include, for example, provisions of site establishment for contractor, site offices for engineers, all facilities for establishment and camping of personnel and staff, testing of materials, expenditure, staffing expenditure, security, watch and ward expenditure, safety, health and environment expenditure, third party insurance liability expenditure, works insurance expenditures, expenditures meant for mobilization and demobilization, expenditure meant for prevention of works, expenditure meant for all activities relevant to implication of existing laws, expenditure applicable for unforeseen circumstances, etc. All these indirect establishment part of required activities or operations have to be carried out on project that would cost to contractor. Which expenses engineer has to certify within payment certificate. All such scope items execution must be documented fully for purposes of initiation, planning, execution and monitoring and closing out properly. These items shall be evaluated for being done throughout life of execution process. Keeping in view their nature, though these costs amount only to a few percentages of total costs, but without implementation of all these, project cannot be executed. Without implementation of these, project cannot be executed. Now let us go into in review of what we are talking of here. What area of knowledge actually we are talking of, and we are refreshed right to understand. We think project requirements, what actually project is and what does it require, right? Then we say, okay, we know all that, what does this project need, what does project speak, what it wants, but how to start it, what is initiation? Now what is this charter concept, project charter? Tell me. It may be entitled project charter or may not be entitled, but there is a document that is like a charter and that tells me what this project is all about. Then you can say this charter, this can say this is project, this is what we are, we need this project, we do this is suitable for us, how much we have to spend on this, what result it will bring, what life we will get as organization, what shall benefit us, what's future prospect on this, who are stakeholders in this, all stakeholders internal as well as external, what benefit public shall get is, how we are related to public, all this, and what is technicalities behind, what is total quantity, how can we use this, how can we do ourselves. I am talking of this charter from engineer end, from contractor end, and from all parties concerned. This charter is different one. This composition of your project as well as implementation and future attraction of for yourself. Then go to planning for all stages during the life cycle. Planning, we said scheme, schedule, from there start of bid and at delivery of project, both we are saying. So planning for all stages during life cycle, it can be level 1, it can be level 2, 3 up to 5. Level 1 is master one, then level 2 is little different, detailing 3 and 4 and 5. In 5 complete details and 3 and 4. Then means there are so many types of plans. Look 3 months ahead, look 2 months, look 1 week ahead, like that, and revision and all that. That is called planning or scheming, based on which you measure your practical work, based on which you measure what you are going to do, how much you have achieved. And then execution and monitoring controls, performance measurements we have learned, then project closing out and lessons learned. So now we move further onto this just to see what actually we are talking of. This is During execution and monitoring, it's not one day job. Whole period of construction means people are involved, hundreds of activities, all disciplines, civil, structural, finishes, air conditioning, HVAC, and you can say electrical, then you can say specialist activities like hospital project, oxygen gas, medical gas, this gas, that gas, and in so many equipment installations, and you can say if this is some other building, lift, elevator, and so many are there. We have to measure each and every item on progress, what it is, and we have to see how much we have reached. Then all these means we have learned about this, and the measurement of this, valuation of this, and then when to close out project means what we have to do before closing our project. We have to check each and every room. We have to go to all wheel. We have to see what work is done, what is not done, what is left, and what we learned from previous mistakes. All this we have to understand. So you can say in this file, this is project management in brief. What we have gone through in this, I can just say one by one. This is title is construction project management overview, and in this I said hyperlinks for this project requirements, reasons, brief talk, project management concept and its necessity, project management, a brief analysis to understand how to integrate project plan with required knowledge areas, and then structure a sequence of project management knowledge area requirements, then risk response plan, risk management plan, communication, initiation, that's project's initial charter constituents, then planning, development of project plan, major process constituents, then within planning knowledge, area integration and development plan, and then client or owner meeting deadlines to release bid documents, then bidder or tenderer meeting deadlines to submit bids, then execution or implementation process, and then communication channels or processes, involvement by all relevant parties, monitoring and updates, continuous processes during project life cycle, lessons learned from mistakes and incorrect decisions, completion and closing administrative controls. So what actually I wrote in forward in this paper talks of real project management out. Real project is we are talking contents well known to you have been inserted in various parts. Project management applications are well known to all engineers, but presentation is an attempt to refresh reader by a brief deliberation proposition. At the end of the presentation, one should feel comfortable about precise refreshing of most aspects of project management. Presentation shall be revised further, while brainstorming are welcome. So in this I said part 1 is a project requirement, reasons, brief talk. I said evolution of society and development, we talked of this evolution of society and development, and we talked of marketing demands for all operating unit organization, and then we followed up by business need of commercial houses, then customer requests for modifications, and we talked of technological advance in globe, and it said legal requirements for implementation of laws, and then social needs fulfillment. This is in part 1. Part 2 said project management concept necessary. Just to share about professional experience with engineers, I pleased to initiate this series of actual project management requirements, the need, understanding and attention by engineer and specialist engineer, and then project management subject has been ignored by many. I say, professional engineering perspective requires a good manual. So I just explained why this is required, and that's why I described. Then part 3, so project management means what is understanding of project management. As I said, I just wrote there what are disciplines of what required in the project management, and they are scope, quality. Number 1 is scope, number 2 is quality, number 3 is time, number 4 is cost. Quality, cost and time, very important. Then risks, human resources, procurement, communication plans. These were factors and many more, value addition, all that, value engineering. So we discussed these factors. Then brief analysis to understand how to integrate project plan with required knowledge areas. So we talked of project management, how it impacts upon, and then we have who are involved in civil construction, civil engineering industries, and we listed something. For example, number 1, client or government or private owners or ministries or international organizations. Then security related projects, then local self-government bodies, statutory companies, government companies, public-private partnerships, non-government organizations, petrochemical industries, heavy industries, industries of all sorts, real estates, housing of all sorts, commercial, institutional, contracting companies, private companies or entities, private promoters, private individuals. Then what type of projects are manageable? You can say government as a client and awarding to contractors, government as promoter, executing self through departments, organizations executing self either for promotion or to meet market demands or to make updates, organizations working as contractors for all classes and all disciplines. So then we talked of feed, and feed is very, it means what process are there. Then we part 4 says, we say what project stages. We said charter stage. These are knowledge areas. Talk about charter. This is scope charter, decision making stage about any project, charter authorizations, and then we say quality standards to be achieved on deliveries, time significant factors governing project stages, and we'll learn to costs affecting all parties involved in the project, and risk factors affecting about risk impact due to change in its scope, and risk impacts due to changes in quality standards, and risk impact due to changes in schedule time. And we talked of risk impacts due to changes in cost, risk impacts due to partly unknown scope, means partly unknown. Then risk plans, risk management plan. We talked of how to manage risks and how to plan this, and the human resources. Then this says affecting cost, time and power, quality standards, cost, element, scope, required plans, move and move out, motivation, mobility, procurement, deliveries of material and equipment. And we talked of communications, means transparency, conferencing, electronic medium, and who should get it, most significant part of project manager's role, responsibility, communication, foreman job in management. And then we said project stages, means all everywhere you are talking about 6 stages. And initiation, project's initial charter constituents, and it's all then planning, development, project plan, major processes, constituents within planning, knowledge area integration, the development plan. And then part 6, the project stages, including the clients on our meeting deadlines to release bid documents, bidder or tenderer, and then technical bid and commercial bid. Then it's project stage and execution of implementation plans, and client or owner meeting deadlines to release contract documents through engineer, duly executed legally or contract documents, and the whole lot, contractor meeting deadlines to submit various deliverables. And then we can say communication channels, involvement by related parties, planning, engineering, this correspondences, then planning, engineering, site issues, laboratory, HSC planning, all changes and works. Then part 8 is project stages, monitoring and updates, continuous process during life cycle, deliverables then, and then approvals, work process, work changes, then payment certificates and revised time schedule, then communication to stakeholders, engineers communication to client, and then lessons learned, as I said today just now, lessons learned. And we just said part 10 project stages of process include, and then mechanical or practical completion or closing. Then we say takeover certificate, dossiers, transfer of titles, transfer of technology or use, license to use title, and administrative controls. And then preamble, guidance to contractor, and what we learned actually. This is what we talked in this document. This is a very brief document, not very explanatory, but it's not need to read big books just to understand what is a small one. Books can be written with thick, but question is fact sheet there. So my interest was to reflect this in this, and I will move further now about this document of scope we were talking of, and we were talking of our let me close some files so that I can easily move on that. So I'll close this project manager file because it's closed, and we'll leave the other one. Now I was yesterday talking about this general RCC, this was about ISO 9001 Annex SL Contracting General RCC Buildings Construction. I was moving on this file and I covered 7 clauses. These 7 clauses we covered yesterday up to, you can say, supports. We covered with, you can say, I just moved down. We covered up to, this is support, and we covered before that planning. Let me move to home. So quality, I said in this file, quality system, contractor general, this is Annex SL, contractor general, RCC buildings, construction template. Actually what I'm trying to give you, application of this Annex SL. Annex SL is standard one. I just tell you there's 10 categories in that, 10 clauses in that. And these 10 clauses are standardized in ISO 9001-2015 for all jobs, all companies. And these are actually integration not only of this ISO 9001 but also 14,000 and 24,000, other one, environment class and other one, all have been integrated into this as equals like a merger. So in this quality system that I am going to define you, I will define general annex. Now it is application. I defined you before. This is general RCC work. This means what we are considering in that, we have to make up, we have to form this ISO 9001 Annex SL, and we have to, it's kind of procedure of quality system. Whatever we approve, we have to approve within these 10 clauses. We cannot change that 10 clauses, but we can add to subtitles. We can add to those titles whatever we want to add. They have given standard titles, subtitles, but we have an option to augment or increase those subtitles. So what in this was, in this quality system, when I started, I covered, now what actually I wrote in this quality system. An organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortably achieving its set objectives, which being in this case contracting general RCC buildings construction. This was my application to this SL. Means I am organizing a management system to take care comfortably of achieving set objectives, which being in this case contracting general RCC building. I am a contractor, say, to take contracts of RCC building construction. In that way, what I should do, I can produce this Annex X, this SL, or this high structured system. Now, management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities so as to successfully reach its intended objectives, which lead to enhanced use of resources, improvement on risk management. Means risk management is very important, and increase customer satisfaction by meeting product of service. So customer satisfaction is the ultimate objective. Customer satisfaction means value added satisfaction, not simply normal satisfaction. I am quality guy. I have to give my services to customer through this system of quality management. It's not ordinary service. My service should be at every location with value added, means better than the best, you can say. That service I have to provide to that customer. This is sole spirit behind that. So in this case, product is contracting general. So I have to deliver a constructed RCC building to my client, to my customer. Now organizations do work on various management systems, say quality management, environment management, safety management. All systems apply in this case directly as well as indirectly. So what IS 9000 says, these various systems in line to IS 9001-2008 used to work on varying management structures, causing inconveniences to interface with each other, but now all these issues be dealt with as framed in common templates. So this is a template. Annex SL being a high level management system structure has produced a common platform so as all systems that organization adopts can be drawn based on Annex SL designs or format. Contracting general RCC buildings construction can be easily defined within Annex SL format. Such arrangement provides many commonalities in designing system, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and improvement by trying to eliminate conflicts that existed within IS 9001-2008 system in link to safety and environment. Now, various stages related contracting general RCC buildings construction can be covered within this Annex SL template successfully. All management systems shall have single high-level identical core text with common terms and definition which can be defined within Annex SL. High-level structure cannot be changed, but discipline-specific subclauses can be both added or changed. As such, additions may be made where required. Related to contracting general RCC buildings construction. Now, Annex SL applies to all management systems standard publicly available. Specifications and technical specifications as well as customized requirements. Revised ISO 9001, 14001 and 45001 shall all be based on Annex SL high level structure, where related to in this case though not included herein. Now this Annex SL template shown is only for indicative guidance to apprise engineer how new system adopted by ISO effective September 2015 work to produce organizational prime quality document which shall govern whole organization quality process required by business, adding accountability shareable by business and technocrats leaders. Wherever and whatever requirements demand, items can be added or subclauses. Items can be added as subclauses, but no deletion can be made. Purpose of this template is just to project quality track demanded by ISO 9000-2015 system, which is a mandate published by ISO and without which applications all existing ISO 9001-2008 registered certifications shall stand invalid after 3 years of September 2015 means September 2018 is a void day for ISO 9001 and 2008, and that day has already gone 2 years back. Therefore, this Annex SL adoption is a must for new quality system operating globally. Annex SL contract, now is actually I told you, I explained to you. Contract in general RCC buildings construction. In clause 1, it is a scope. And what is the requirement? Requirement is, it includes intended outcome of management system which are industry specific and should be aligned with class 4 context of organization. So this number 1 gives requirements, means what is intention of outcome of this system. Now it says in this template, in this scope, class 1 says scope in this case does not amount to direct product delivery to owner, but other contracts and parties are involved for a successful delivery of product produced by contracting organization, which scope very briefly is like contracting general. What is intention? This means to say contracting general RCC buildings. What is intention? Contracting general RCC building construction from winning a bid to project final completion stage. Construction present is a construction prosecuted based on designs delivered by owner appointed engineer, and construction operations supervised directly by owner appointed engineer. Construction prosecuted by owner appointed contracting organizations including subcontractors under superintendence by engineer. Delivery of designs and specifications wise completed building under certification of completion per contract documents and regulations. Certificate of completion of contract granted by you can say engineer appointed by owner. This was clause 1. Now clause 2, that is normative references. And what are those references? Details of reference, standards of publication relevant to particular standards. Now I say owner is designated party 1 on this contract, owner, employer, and contractor is designated party 2, or hereinafter called contractor. Party 2 on this contract. This is construction contract. Contract between owner and contractor, or FIDIC or NEC standard, which would be after job is won. They have to decide how to do that. If they want to adopt FIDIC, or they want to adopt NEC, or they want to extract those clauses into their contract to their suitability, that is what is required. Then engineer is not a legal party on this contract. These are all references. Engineer shall administer this contract legally for owner. So engineer is an administration for this contract. A third party, you can say, like a third party, because first party is employer and second party is contractor, and engineer is administrator on this contract. Then payment shall be made by owner to contractor, who is party 2, and owner is party 1. Party 1 shall pay to party 2 based on payment certificate issued by engineer from time to time, and finally based on completion status, keeping abreast all contract conditions. And then in case if dispute resolution mechanism is required to be operated on whatever issues, engineer shall in first place be referred whatever disputes arise, whose decisions shall be final and binding on both parties, until arbitration process starts, when engineer's decision is not honored by one party. Means engineer here is a third party, like means independent one, of course administrator, but there's a dispute between engineer and between contractor and employer regarding payment or whatever material, and they are not agreeing with engineer what engineer's independent decision is, but legally per contract conditions engineer decision is forced to be accepted by two on ad hoc basis until these parties move arbitration, or dispute resolution mechanism according to law and according to embedded contract within this contract of construction between employer and contractor. Engineer role is there for this transition period until arbitration proceeding starts. This is what it says. Both parties shall be free to embed no arbitration clause contract within this condition. Okay, what I am saying embed in this contract, actually arbitration clause or dispute resolution mechanism, though it is in same page of contract within contract, but it's not an integrated part of construction contract because there is a separate law for that. Arbitration clause, whatever is included, is itself a separate agreement. It is not essential that it should be a part of that. In that contract, it can be even agreed separately, or even if it is not agreed, it can be taken off separately also later on. That is what it is. Then both parties shall be free to include specific professional qualifications of incumbent arbitrator of dispute adjudication board members. This is very important one from practical viewpoint. When you are making a contract of arbitration, within this contract, it is in interest of yourselves, both parties, and also in interest of your future, your dispute, that you should keep certain professionals who are from this field. This is construction field, this is engineering field, and if you keep those people who are experienced, those professionals who are experienced in this field, you will get better results, better proceedings, and better award. But if you bring those people who know nothing about contract, who know nothing about engineering, who know nothing about processes of construction and how people work on field sites, how specifications mean, how they mean, what they mean, how to answer it, there will be many requirements as such, technically where experts will be then invited. It's therefore better use engineers as arbitrators rather than bringing legal minds for that purpose. That's what it says. If you specify, if you mandate on this arbitration contract that there shall be civil engineer with so many years of experience in this field, it shall be in interest of this contract as well as in interest of your disputes resolution mechanism, so that you will get efficient service, better service, and reliable service of dispute resolution. Nowadays, according to FIDIC, there's an intermediary that's called DAB, Disputes Adjudication Board, which lies between engineer and arbitration. Here is engineer, here arbitration. In between is that DAB. DAB is an institution, is a body within that construction period. It visits sites, sees how you are moving, and invites if there is any problem, come on to me, I'll try to solve it. And this DAB is required to be kept informed all time about progress. So engineer and contractor, they are not in a position to agree on some issue on behalf of employer. An employer is not interested. This DAB can come in and help them and give award temporarily, but final award would come if not agreed by DAB award, that come and that shall come from arbitration proceedings. This is all mean when I discuss FIDIC, I discuss that standard performer or standard contract form. We will take this in details what DAB is all about. Now, in case dispute adjudication board, DAB has been appointed by both parties, decisions related to dispute shall be charted out by it. Now, ISO 9001:2015 honors organization document including engineers relevant, if applicable, may be switched to. if so mandated by owner in place of contractor's quality system. Okay. Then it is means contractor's organization document to be complied with when no such mandate by owner requires to follow owner system. Well, this is what I am saying. Let me repeat it so that you may not confused. What it says, ISO 9001:2015 owners organization document. Owners organization document includes engineers relevant, if applicable, may be switched to if so mandated by owner in place of contractor's quality system. There may be a quality system maintained by owner. There may be a quality system maintained by an owner who is a professional company, let us say. And they say no, they say to contractor, this is a condition in our contract that you have to follow our system. If you want this job, this is the condition. And if you want a job as contractor, you have to follow their system. So better you adopt the system. After all, it is procedure, it's working. It makes employers data entry easy, as well as you once you maybe it is difficult for you once, but if you want contact, if you want to cooperate with employer, then you have to accept that. Or ISO 9001:2015 contractors organization document to be compiled, to be complied with when no such mandate by owners requires to follow owner system. And otherwise you are free to use your system in case owner does not operate any such quality system. Now project schedules that would be agreed upon by and between both parties to contract. Project schedule that would be agreed upon by and between both parties to contract. That is project scope, and these are all references. I mean, this requirement is references. Then contracts, descriptive documents, designs, drawings, all disciplines, project specifications, all general specifications, national specifications, list of materials for selection by contractor and costing, list of subcontracting vendors list of subcontracting vendors for selection by contractor and costing, if so mandated by engineer, typical list of working and shop drawings, all disciplines, all applicable list of codes must be included within contract or tender or with documents, specific working procedures or method statements for certain specific purpose if so required, all other references such as related to HSE, ecosystem, quality system or others or some. This was class 2. Now we jump to class 3, that is terms and definition. This class 2 was narratives, right? Normatives. Now what says terms and conditions, terms and definitions. Detailed terms and definitions applicable to particular specific standard in addition to formal related terms and format related terms and conditions. And this clause 3 says that control references. Say what are control references? Here authorities control, statute and laws, contract with owner or FIDIC book or new engineering contract NEC as case be, or national standard control contract if certainly applicable, or contract documents, owner's personal, engineer's personal, contractor's personal, workforce, daily progress reports, status, memos to contractor, technical clarification, engineering clarification, contractual clarification, subcontractors, nominated contractors, site instructions, engineers instructions, request for inspection, general items, request for inspections, concrete pours, non-compliance reports and CRs, material approval requests and drawing approval requests and subcontracts approval requests, temporary works, preparatory works, permanent works, construction method statements, standard working drawing, designs or details, quality management, statements including checklists, ITPs, safety management documents including safety in erection, training, upkeep or surveillance, fire prevention and suppression, supporting executive references are excavation, for example, soil testing. These are all references, you have to recall them. Soil testing on site, soil improvement, blinding, concrete protection, waterproofing, below ground and above ground, cast in situ concrete, formwork, reinforcement fabrication, reinforcement placement, precast, pre-stressed concrete if included, concrete class, reinforcement grade, soil, backfill, piping, concrete block walls, roofing, plastering, rendering, flooring, doors, windows, ironmongery, kitchen, wet areas, finishes, special items, testing and commissioning, design, estimated quantities, issuing for information drawing, issued for building permit drawing, issued for construction drawing, revised designs, national annexes, nationally determined parameters, and published documents, and all other necessary definitions. Then let's go to class 4. It's a context of organization, which is very important one and descriptive one as well. So I'm just trying to tell all these 10 clauses to you for your better understanding and to form your own way to comprehend what you want to do. And that's context of organization says it may include understanding organization and its context. Let me remove this. Understanding organization and its context, understanding need and expectation of parties, determining the scope of management system and management system. And what we have to consider, why does organization exist? Identify internal and external issues that impact intended outcome, interested parties and their requirements, define scope and set boundaries of management system, raise employees awareness and involvement, and we'll move down to project charter considerations for each bid. We as a contracting, building, construction organization, to maintain each project track, work out a charter related to every bid, and thereafter that charter continues if bid turns to award as contract. What says? We are a contracting, building, construction organization. To maintain each project track, work out a charter related to every bid or tender, and thereafter that charter continues if bid turns to be awarded or we get contract. This charter is not an ordinary one. It's not the ordinary one. It's a management book. It's management board comprising leaders and seniors constitute a complete detail related to bid and post-bid of project matters. It starts working on from effective day when talk of bid commences with, considering all relevant points whether or not this bid can be made as an objective for I just missed it, sorry. Let me, So whether or not, let me repeat it, it starts working on from effective day when talk of bid commences with, considering all relevant points whether or not this bid can be made as an objective for organizational progress, or it may be prestigious progress to raise organizational status. Economical, financial, technical, past records, profits, possible risks, company business policy, current work load, etc. all are brought into charter's consideration, leading to resolve and adopt or make a final decision whether or not to go for this bid or else condemn it. Close this charter at this stage so that bid documents could be successfully returned to owner or engineer with regret, and thanks for giving an opportunity for considering at this stage for this project. Let me repeat it. In this charter, we have to consider economical views, financial views, technical views, our company past records, profit angle, possible risks that we have to encounter, company business policy, current workload that we have, etc. And all brought into charter's evaluation, charter's consideration, which may lead to resolve and adopt or make a final decision whether or not should company go for this bid or regret. And if regret, close this charter at this stage so that bid documents may be successfully returned to owner or engineer with regret, with expression of regret and thanks for giving an opportunity for considering our company at this stage for this project. This project charter acts as a master professional management document for prosecution and execution of project during post-award period and thereafter, since it contains complete details including provided budget for implementation. Sorry. Now, our company, our organization does not believe in randomly taken decisions on projects bidding, but adequate detailed consideration, study and analysis are conducted prior to clearance is given to whatever bid be under charter consideration, which decision our organization considers professional approach. Points raised by each member during brainstorming session and all other analytical sessions are duly minuted on charter for further reference. Organization. This organization is an existing registered grade whatever contracting organization in state or nation of or country of this name. This organization is commercially registered under statute and authority of National Chamber of Commerce or under Companies Registration Act. We are leading organization in building construction in general and having adequate experience in relevant discipline including all allied services expertise. List of our quality oriented and value added delivered products has been enclosed as annex ... with credentials won from various clients. We have consistent and competent team of competent professionals from all required engineering disciplines with a strength, professional engineers with a strength ... professional engineers ... chartered engineers ... other degree with a supporting engineering strength ... engineers providing and supporting dedicated teams for buildings related site works engineering, execution and prosecution for getting best possible product, works deliveries related to infrastructures including landscape, architecture, intend to help public avail benefits of best technical know-how regarding construction of RCC buildings, either directly to owner of building or to professional architect appointed by building owner, or to end user, or to all stakeholders as case would be or may be. Organization is a small, medium, large group of technocrats but with high level profile backup of engineering supervision, management and attainment. Organization is fully capable to augment its strength further. All disciplines, pertinent supervising experts as and when required. Organization understands that it is its professional, national and social responsibility to contemplate, analyze, consider and reconsider to deliver best and fittest degree of works production at economical and sustainable ecological cost, forcing keeping site and surrounding locations tidy, safe in all respects and help to avoid inconvenience to public. Organization is committed not to work against environment and health, which makes upon it incumbent to comply with rules regarding protection from construction related hazards. Organization is committed not to allow any construction related debris or other wastes remain on site or in vicinity, but to transport all these environmental pollution related wastes to approved locations where adequate further care may be resorted to by responsible authorities. Organization understands that product end user expects best sustainable economically, ecologically and within acceptable criteria, graded with quality control product. All such operations that can assist site work with minimum efforts and maximum benefits. Organizational leader ensures that it well understands requirements mandated by laws, regulations, contract documents, good industrial practices, honor, architect and others. Internal issues are reference to mandatory and advisory practice, national and international codes, prosecution requirements, labor controls and welfare, subcontractors control, maintaining peace and harmony at residences, camps and at site. External issues are site coordination with statutory and government authorities, appointed architects and engineers, and owners representatives, as well as direct and indirect impact groups which need take care of from time to time. Organization leader makes sure that there should be no delay on conducting work supervision and work deliveries schedule, which works if delayed shall mar site prosecution and impose on consequential delays on project completion, leading to imposing contract provided penalty clause or liquidated damages, as well as limiting damages capping penalty as a criminal procedure terms yet on many projects. Contract documents, this term is seen from different perspectives. Organization considers that every contract project should provide at least a minimum percentage of profit for covering business growth requirements and also to induct input for future progression in various directions. Organization does not believe in considerable losses to be received on project. Being a contracting organization, we contemplate at least a minimum of calculated profits in a given defined time on project. We are a responsible management having a consistent and competent leadership who intends to provide them a good expected profit if not enormous, so that in stocks we remain important, competitive. Our past history is an attractive one to an extent. Percentages of profit is related to, as well as percentage of its growth is related to. We intend to integrate an existing list of stakeholders, many top profile investors who could add more power to this organization so that value on our share continuously rises. Now, scope considered by organization. Our current scope is progressively and dynamically working business on RCC buildings, construction contracts in this nation, but this is not a limited constraint. This is not a limited constraint or limiting constraint. Meanwhile, management leaders do have opinion to enter EPC contracting in coming 5 years target period. Our research team remains partly busy on charting out its strategy, how to accede to field related to EPC bidding across this or various other economies. We have worked over times for initiating such an approach so that we may consider contracting many potential EPC organizations, be either with them or as JVs partners, or they award us respective civil works on EPC ongoing contracts for which we have adequate potential to deliver requirements owned by EPC operations. To effect entirely to EPC, organization often chart out its strategy with international leading EPC organizations to compete on civil works subcontracts so that we earn relative experience which may help us work with them in future. Organization also tries continuously to enter into professional alliance with electromechanical contracting organizations so as to have their support for our package RC building contracts, bids for which we intend to chart out pre-bid alliance virtually for submitting competitive bids and constitute with them future partnership for other projects. Organization also continuously tries to find junior partners to deal with non-structural items who may extend to us respective affordable assistance to help us win competitive based bids. Our organization has divisions such as business development division, estimating and tendering division, in-house designs divisions, planning and scheduling division, marketing or purchasing division, construction division, safety, health and environment, quality system division, administration division, etc., etc. During bidding process, organization appoints and declares one coordination manager to work out each bid in details with support of estimation division, who could probably be later appointed as project manager of this or one project. This project manager is dedicated to be responsible for all outcomes of bid from inception of bid charter to project deliveries. Whole bid is worked out under project manager's direct control, who after finalizing final price confidentially confers and consults with board and owner, who may vary worked out price. All divisions provide worked out support to project managers technically, commercially and professionally in all regards, which details are inserted within relevant portion of bid package documents. Significant parts of bid may be contract form, Significant parts of bid may be contract form, details relevant to bidder, staffing levels, material proposed, subcontracts are proposed, schedule with histograms, S curve, separate rates for each item, details, including detailed bills of quantities with price worked out, execution method statements giving prime methods that organization intends to run project construction under that detail. Organization also includes safety plan and quality plan with documents to make its concept clear in all respects, pertinent capacity of organization in dealing with project demands professionally. Organization also intends to work out an alternative bid so as to provide a value added service to owner. Final worked out price is then inserted on bid confidentially and bid submitted with relevant authority or department or with private owner as case may be. According to bid bond requirement, demanded tender bond is also provided, which remains in force until performance bond is provided or bidder loses his bid job. For all significant bids involving considerable quantities of materials to be used on permanent basis, more than 3 or at least 3 quotations are invited from which rates, items, prices are worked out. All quotations from vendors are recorded for future references with respective validity, extended in case bid award is delayed by owner. So far we are limited to doing all civil works by our workforce, whereas other items are subcontracted to professional vendors officially with formal approval from owner engineer. Organization is very keen to further organize its potential to make its professional for various other items for which our team has been working so that as many items we could carry out ourselves. All our related personnel and managers well know areas where we as main contractor are considered experts. Organization got many sister concerns working on many items which we make use of their standards and potential as a part and parcel on all such bids. Then clause 5 is leadership, that I'm going to explain to you now. Leadership and commitment, these are including leaderships and commitment, policy, and then organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities. And what is required in that is points we consider are emphasis on leadership, not just top management, but leadership is responsible and accountable. Top management has greater accountability and involvement in organizational management system. Integrate requirements of management system into organization core business process. Ensure that management system allocates necessary resources. Ensure management system achieves business intended outcome. Top management responsible to communicate in importance of management system and ensure employees awareness and involvement. Now what actually we are talking of here? Leaders enjoy trust of top management and organization. ISO 9001-2015 has extended greater responsibility and accountability to leaders who have in fact been virtually elevated to share quality system in all respects, since leaders cannot locate themselves to footboard of senior manager only, leaving entire responsibility to quality agent or quality representative of organization. In fact, quality representative term has been eliminated from purview of quality system ISO 9001-2015. Now leaders are virtually designated owners to effectively manage quality system in all organizations, which means that every senior manager or system designated leader has to work in collaboration with all middle and lower management personnel for accountability towards the quality system performance. This means leaders must apply additional efforts by stretching working hours if processes are not carried out during formal normal working hours. Quality divisions shall be required for defined purpose as all other divisions only, and they shall carry respective works allocations in routine briefing apprising leaders of whatever achievement or work status. This means that status and responsibilities described on leaders and quality personnel have drastically been altered under ISO 9001:2015 to an extent that leaders cannot escape lead accountability when some account or non-compliance is reported. All division partners are heads and leaders to their respective sections, such as designs, estimation, planning, purchasing, safety, quality, site controls, engineering services, contract valuation and approvals, etc. Policy devised by top management and leaders is that site work should be done right first time, every time, avoiding rework to a maximum extent possible. Site work should be allotted to right competent person only, and if right person is not available for certain specific job, either training should be given to personnel involved or work should be outsourced officially in form of subcontract. Work should be effected error-free or defect-free in scheduled time with required degree of competency and acceptable compliance. Required attempt has to be made to all works error-free or defect-free to a maximum extent feasible. Organization has devised various levels of positions such as top, management, middle level, senior and detailed managing level. Top management contributors are leaders in themselves to direct, self and guide all others located on site and off site. Sorry. They require to provide vision to site organization. They require to keep all personnel all times motivated so that continuity of personnel and good practice work is maintained on site with smooth motion of operations to achieve all milestones. Leaders need ensure that policy of organization is always effective and consistently its objectives are achieved in all cases. They need not involve themselves directly with details but involve with by surveillance of all works of execution, prosecution and wherever and whenever they should extend support to required personnel. As and when lack on promptness, progress is visible. They need make sure that human and other human and other resources required to meet site working operations are available all time as and when necessary, either directly or through subcontractor as case may be. They need to make sure that contractor mobilizes all resources requirements in line to contract and project schedule. They need to ensure that all contractors personnel at all levels know about respective job activities which must be produced in descriptive writing and be updated from time to time depending on newer projects or due to added responsibility. Leaders have to, in all cases, all time ensure that device management system is well monitored. Received, evaluated and necessary improvement is included as and when required. They need ensure that all necessary information regarding system management is communicated to all personnel as and when necessary, which communication making is essential. Leaders need ensure that all clients or respective owners are well aware that organization has been complying with newer requirements and duly updated so that it be easier to participate in newer bids to manage building works. Construction management requires to conduct scheduled audit on contract progress to an extent contractor site organization is concerned. Construction management ensure that monthly or scheduled payment is raised in form of valuation statement by contractor in process when due or after evaluation and scrutiny by engineer. Approved payment certificates are received from owner engineer. Construction management makes sure submit all reports to its leaders in its corporate or head office whenever due so that real achievement and status of contract remains known to them and information circulated to designated key personnel. All such significant project status reporting requires to be moved further upward to all stakeholders included on project charter. We jump to class 6 now, planning. What actually it includes? Actions to address risks and opportunities, management system, objectives and planning to achieve these objectives, and which points we have to consider are: bring risk-based thinking to front. Once organization pinpoints risks and opportunities, it has to work out how to resolve, address through planning. What, who, how and when these risks be addressed. This approach replaces preventive action, reduce risk for corrective action later. Objectives of management system should be measurable, communicated, aligned to management systems policy and updated as and when required. So we are going to discuss now planning. Planning work in fact starts when one project charter is opened for certain bid. Organization starts thinking on project requirement, project aspects and all risks involved and all other restraints that may come in way of project from whatever source. Organization has a basic right whether to go or not to go for certain project depending on its financial credit limits or other available current business, which may not allow additional business for a specific period of few months or years depending on organization funding potential. Once organization decides on its charter to go for project, formal planning commences with immediately with naming project manager or leader so that they can lead personnel would share all ins and outs of that project. Charter writes all details relevant to project, its funding sources and all stakeholders involved. All risks should have been considered in all respects prior to agreeing on charter for doing project irrespective of whether or not it is won. What points can be considered? Risks in construction management contracting not easy to list out in one go. ISO 9001:2015 requires to think in terms of risk management virtually and not just risk prevention. Every risk and restraint should be studied in details to sort out relevant adverse imposing factors to to work out to eliminate those factors or to overcome them prior to risk starts entering into project life. Leaders must by virtue of their valuable experience post academic qualification understand what risk would be encountered on such project and what are possible resolutions to remove these risks prior to these positions in our project process. Risk can occur on various profiles which can be forecast, analyzed and understood easily by experienced and pragmatic professionals, and once such risks are evaluated, an alternative solution or risk solution based on its elimination can be charted out so that no obstacle comes on to project progress. Business process based risks are considered and resolved by top leaders, while site based risks are dealt with site by site representatives. Depending on each risk item evolving in during works or prior to works commence with. Examples for certain risks could be as mentioned hereinafter. Say, site is not clearly located due to coordinates not explicitly defined, which requires immediate resolution by coordinating with relevant authorities to locate design or plant coordinates. Site is located but some issues exist for giving its clearance so that it may not be handed over to contractor successfully, either in part or in full, which requires attention by engineer and contractor to operate relevant contract clause to coordinate with statutory or other bodies for a resolution in case it relates to those bodies. Whereas risk relates to other factors, engineer and contractor should work jointly in collaboration how to come out of risk impact. Site is running underneath with many live services which require detailed investigation and later either relocation or diversion, which detailed survey must be done either by contractor self or by certain competent agency, or otherwise appease situation from record drawings obtaining from statutory bodies, which in assistance should be extended by engineer, and thereafter application should be made to relevant involved authority to either remove that service if no more required to serve vicinity or to divert that service depending upon what authority decides, but whatever decision requires to be taken should be taken without any loss of time. Information required from client is not available in time, which can contribute waste potential working hours. To avoid which time wastage due to contact issues in writing and by conducting meetings in person should obtain required missing information or clarification. Site surveys are not conducted in time due to non-availability of site exploration agency vendor, which must be conducted by appointing surveying agency duly approved by engineer, so that a professional reporting related to geographical and geotechnical be made for review and approval by engineer. Site soil exploration is not carried out in time per schedule due to non-availability of site exploring agent vendor, which should be expedited if contract constitutes this requirement, so that its adverse impact to delay foundations and thereby works on substructure. Architect delays issues of required drawings to avoid which delays. Close coordination between engineer and architect be conducted by efforts of contractor if possible, in addition to formally writing to engineer and architect. Subcontractor proposals are not submitted by contractor in scheduled time, which must be submitted in time in case relevant vendors have been finalized by contractor, or else this issue being extremely significant. All attempts should be made in person by leader, project manager to chart out complete strategy so that all submission of subcontractors could be made in time as earliest as possible, or else all work shall delay automatically. Curriculum vitae related to key personnel are not proposed by contractor for approval per schedule, which must be presented by submission to engineer at beginning of contract if feasible, or else should be submitted at an earliest opportunity so that engineer may conduct respective interviews of key personnel to ensure their fitness for deployment on project job. Construction services engineers delay issues related to allied drawings, which must be corrected with by adopting foregoing paragraphs mentioned resolutions so that after approvals of subcontractors all impending submissions could be made expeditiously. Construction work, the contract payment are not released in time, scheduled time from client, which must be followed up once valuation statement is made and approved by engineer. Since approved payment certificate may assist contractor to source bank for further release of funds for project activities. Material submissions are delayed by contractor, which is not a pleasing state, yet it happens because contractor purchase section keeps trying various vendors for equivalent specifications and discounted delivery price, but such delays should be avoided so that accumulative delays while the whole project be prevented. Shop and working drawings submissions are delayed by contractor, which too is a normal state on projects, but should be prevented by personnel involving by leaders of project. Contractor delays on submission of method statements required to be approved by supervising management team, but this is not acceptable since statements can be prepared in time. Should qualified and experienced professionals are available on project staffing strength. Site safety operations are not conducted adequately, which adequate care must be taken by safety divisions complying with safety plan and OSHA related rules and regulations. Occupational safety health. All foregoing risks, all these risk related issues can be checked by intensive engineering coordination from very inception of award of contract to practical or mechanical completion of contract. Every leader responsible for tasks should follow progress by all interactive persons, all times and status updated and communicated to all responsible key personnel. Issues should be raised in internal as well as in external meetings with all others whosoever involved. All minutes of meetings should be recorded and communicated to whosoever involved, personnel formally, later on giving reminders and further follow-up of relative activity update. In fact, an excellently performing coordinating engineer or manager shall be required to be appointed by both contractor and supervising agency so that regular review of contract requirements and follow-up for resolutions may be made whenever be necessary. It has been observed that deliveries related to bulk materials which are imported from overseas cause delays due to various factors such as delay or appointment of vendors due to rates and supply related terms and conditions, LC opening, delays on material approval, delays on customs, etc., which point must be taken care of in due time. Then we jump over to support. What is support? It says supporting with resources you need, competence you need, awareness you need, communication you need, and documents, information you need. And considered points are material, equipment and human resources, capacity, potential of organizations and individuals, qualification of personnel, awareness among all pertinent systems and its functioning, written job description, work procedures, safety procedures, quality control procedures, administration methods. Documented information is different than documentations. Whatever information about management and procedures or processes in whatever form, such as written text, maps, charts, designs, successful implementations, evidences of compliances of requirements, etc. And no system of document but evidentially available documents for references and future use documented informations. Now we say support for an organization. Support for an organization means many types of projects, activities conducted by both from its corporate or head office as well as from site office. And also from its other infrastructure facilities such as its maintenance yard, which be a centralized location to serve all buildings or other project from it. Support is classified into human resources, mechanical resources, professional management resources, knowledge and dissemination resources, communication, procurement management, safety management, quality management, infrastructure, financing resources. Support resources required by construction organizations depend on type of working nature of organization. In this case, organization is a RCC building, a specialist contractor who would require support resources related to its different ingredients and total requirements. Organizations may be a prime general contracting, or maybe a prime general contracting, or maybe only a small or medium level contractor who would require support resources accordingly. Degree of competence is very significant for required support resources, which would require depending upon type of support resource. Degree of competence is very significant for required support resources, which would require depending upon type of support resources. Degree of competence means educational qualification plus professional experience and consistency of experience with updated knowledge. Degree of competence also means trade qualification plus professional experience and consistency of experience with continued development of practical knowledge. Degree of competence also means experience and knowledge based on maturity and work advancement to be conducted independently. And degree of competence also means complete understanding of work applications with all kinds of technical and experience support with decades of field experience. Degree of competence vary from person to person, since professional engineer is supposed to have engineering discipline competency, while a tradesperson would be required to have competency related to trade operations only. A general foreman shall be required to have specialized knowledge related to his area of work responsibility, while a foreman associated with general foreman would be required to work on lower areas but with full command on related operations independently. A division leader would be expected to have engineering professional degree with long years of experience with multidiscipline knowledge for working and application purpose based on interface and intercoordination. Quality division A quality division leader would be required to have engineering professional degree with complete backup of code provisions, specifications, working procedures, testing and inspection in-depth knowledge so that all ITPs, checklists and method statements can be produced meeting trade and project requirements. An LM estimation division leader would be required to have a professional engineering degree with many years of estimation and valuation experience, with complete backup of item rates, procurement prices required, technicalities of various types of materials and equipment, with high degree of quantity surveying practice and I missed something, I think. Yeah. An estimation division leader would be required to have a professional engineering degree with many years of estimation and valuation experience, with complete backup of item rates, procurement prices, required technicalities of various types of materials and equipment, with high degree of quantity surveying practice and power of negotiation. A complete understanding of construction contracts with FIDIC or NEC of NEC based formats must be known to such leaders, who must have detailed knowledge of contracts and arbitration produce meeting trade. Wait a minute, something wrong here, I think. Arbitration and arbitration item rate, procurement prices required, technicalities of various types of materials and equipment, with high degree of quantity surveying practices and power of negotiation. A complete understanding of construction contracts such as FIDIC or NEC based formats must be known to such leaders, who must have detailed knowledge of contract and arbitration equipment, with high degree of quantity surveying practice with power of contracts of arbitration, knowledge of contracts of arbitration. A procurement division leader must be thorough in materials, engineering, and a procurement division leader must be thorough in materials engineering for purpose of screening and charting out quotation analysis and operational research over that. A planning and scheduling division leader must be a professional engineering with thorough knowledge of engineering and prosecution methods, with sequence of operations and application of required time for each operations. Similarly, a leader must be have engineering requirements as site leader. Similarly, site leader must have. Similarly, site leader must have all engineering requirements with decades of experience and skills to check, review and adjustment out. Let me read it again, something wrong here. Similarly, site leader must have all engineering requirements with decades of experience and skills to check, review and chart out site issues efficiently, due to the fact that site leader represents organization on front of project, who thereafter must be extended all the documents. Right, then due to the fact that site leader represents organization on front of project, who therefore must be extended all demanded support from other corporate leaders. Then it's a major requirement that all leaders must be fully aware about project requirement and about system applications, while in turn must train juniors to help keep complete requirement understanding to an extent job responsibility demands. All leaders and associates must keep update all leaders and associates must keep update of system requirement as well as whatever changes are brought into system management structure from time to time throughout currency of project. If so required, related training to all personnel should be imparted to keep them refreshed, just as training regarding safety discipline is imparted regularly. Suggestions should be invited from all personnel without any hesitation, so that what works in minds of personnel be exposed, and if good should be included within system. Every organization is owner of many resources such as heavy equipment, batching plants, concrete pumps, concrete transportation trucks, electrical equipment, middle level equipment, as well as various others. All major size organizations do own many equipment for their projects, drawing benefits on their investments due to fact that they do not need hire all such machines, while they are free to rent them to other organizations. Then 26 organizations owning various heavy equipment and are generally considered having better work potential and favored during bids constituencies. Right? Organizations owning various heavy equipment are generally considered having better work potential and favored during bids consistency and comparison stages. All supporting items must be supported by documentary evidences, and formally a list of such supporting resources should be ready. Supporting resources should be ready and attached with bid strength. All such supporting resources lists should be updated all times and presented for examination and inspection if so required by owner and engineer, to ensure that provided information is authentic and that contractors' assurance that such resources would be available when during scheduled construction period. On similar pattern, list of human resources and subcontracting details must be provided and demonstrated if so demanded by engineer for verification. On similar pattern, list of human resources and subcontract details must be provided and demonstrated if so demanded by engineer for verification. Major equipment that could be presented on list being train covers, tower cranes, mobile cranes, then let's go to clause number 8, that is operation, and it includes operational planning and control. Operational planning and control points for considerations are in-house process, outsourced process. Overall process management includes adequate criteria to control these processes and manage planned and unintended changes. bids. Since buildings require many operations which start from corporate or support office of contractor. Prior to bidding work is started, bidder needs one fully established office that can meet project requirements. This office should have all departments. All departments established at one location to avoid unnecessary movement of personnel from one office to other office. Bid starts with board section or to estimation division, which submits its bid report back to board. Okay, bid starts with board section to estimate division, which submits its bid report back to board, who then decides upon designated charter whether or not to go with bid to issue. One bid is to go, decision is made, estimation division comes into its full-fledged working on bid by appointment by board a project manager in whose control bid shall be worked out with coordination among all personnel belonging to estimation manager division. An estimation coordinator shall be appointed for particular bid, who with support of quantity surveyors and other would invite all quotations from various prospective representative and tenders. Okay, then can say estimation coordinator shall be appointed for particular bid, who with support of quantity surveyors and others would invite all quotations from various prospective vendors and subcontractors. Coordinator would check out all bid documents to attach with all invitation letters one by one and try dispatch all to each vendor, which process takes a lot of handwork and time. Coordinator gives a date to all vendors for tender or bid closing date on or before which quotation should be obtained. Thereafter, all details received from various vendors are entered into system item. Thereafter, all details received from various vendors are entered into item-wise list Excel sheets if used for purpose of making list of. The coordinator Thereafter, all details received from various vendors are entered into item-wise list Excel sheet if used for purpose of making rates and conditions comparison. Coordinator is authorized to call those vendors whom it is expected that would support competitive bidding, for which meeting is appointed and conducted for purpose of negotiations or assurance for pre-bid agreement if so needed, keeping in view value of items, particularly for package subcontractor requirement related to electromechanical and plumbing etc. Such meetings are conducted to try better and reliable support for winning better bids. Once all items are prepared, work of comparing bid items and related prices start. Talks are made to those vendors who failed to send quotations and requests are made to submit if vendors are so interested. All items received in quotations and relevant specifications are compared to make sure that vendor complied with requirements, and if certain discrepancy noticed, clarification sought from vendors. Once all items are ready for pricing purpose, estimator designed for bids enters all prices into software, and then all other indirect are fixed in. After completing all the data entry of directs and indirects, provisional bid price is reached. For management considering considering and review. Management consideration and review. Other end, work on format of bid continues by fulfilling all bid requirements, including execution statement, so that full bill packet be ready for submission. Meanwhile, if certain classification is required from engineer or owner, queries are sent to engineer in approved format, and information sought or whatever queries related to bid documents are made. Planning revision is given task to prepare level 1 schedule for purpose to include with bid who works out all histograms and related submissions. This is a document for election for scheduling. Various meetings are conducted among bid working personnel under chair of estimation manager, and final prices are fixed. All required documentations are prepared and enclosed with bid forms. All materials proposed on permanent inclusion are enlisted for review by engineer. All vendors are enlisted enclosed for similar purpose as materials too. Final price are reviewed by project manager. And then at end of board, a confidential price is given to estimation manager, who incorporates all such price and close the bid for. Then at end of board, and confidence price is given to estimation manager, who incorporates all such prices and close bid for purpose to submit to engineer. After all foregoing process for bid preparations, bid is submitted to defined location by bidder prior to appointed final hour. First negotiation. Bid negotiation. Bid is opened by engineer on date appointed, and list of bidders is prepared. It's not necessary that bid be awarded to a bidder who quoted minimum price, but this is part of practice only. Engineer examines and scrutinizes all bid received. Then a list is prepared by engineer to invite bidder under negotiations, considering one by one minimum votes. Bidder is prioritized for negotiations. So, along with prime or main bid, alternative bid also is examined simultaneously. So both are there. A list is prepared by engineer to invite bidders under negotiation considerations one by one. Minimum quote bidder is prioritized for negotiations along with prime or main bid. Alternative bid also examined simultaneously. Notes are made for all bids regarding bid in order of submission, or if certain deficiencies exist. Whatever deficiency exists, bidders asked to clear it or clarify it in a defined time for further considerations. After making complete review and scrutiny of bids, bidders are called for further negotiations, which leads to award of bid to one best bidder. Later, engineer makes a report for bid award for honors consideration, and final decision is taken by honor on engineer's recommendation. Contract award, having just typical language, having considered engineer's recommendations, honor approves award of contract and worked out sum, duly instructing engineer to issue letter of appointment to contractor. Engineer as such issues an appointment letter with approved lump sum for carrying out complete scope within contract. Name of resident engineer is also included within this letter so that contractor would practically deal with resident engineer shall work on behalf of engineer with all delegated shall work on behalf of engineer with all delegated powers as mentioned in appointment letter. A time of 7 days allowed to contractor to commence with contractual work. Later, complete contract is executed within a given time limit, whether contractor is okay. Contractor is later complete contract is executed within a given time limit, whereas contractor is required to produce a performance bond of defined sum from a designated bank. Contractor is also directed to make all submissions per requirement by contract conditions, copies of which are either available with contractor as body documents or could be provided to contractor for references. Now it's contractor responsibility to commence with mobilization in time in line to execution such statement. Then you can say mobilization is important. Now it's contractor's responsibility to commence with mobilization in line to execution statement included within bid document. Day on which appointment letter is issued may be considered contract commencement day, or some other date appointed on letter itself could be referred to as contract commencement day to name it a practical contract baseline. Now, site mobilization to commence contract scope. No contractor is entrusted to waste any time to successfully complete contract. If contractor is serious, which organization should be, planning and scheduling division of contractors shall be well prepared in advance to direct site manager to chart out attack on all possible activities. Project manager should fix a kick start meeting with engineer or resident engineer if so appointed by engineer. Contractor formally meets resident engineer or engineer to confer on starting project. Contractor submits third party insurance documents and also performance bond PB of value defined. Contractor also submits proposed site office and related infrastructure to support doing permanent works. Resident engineer then examines table proposal and approves it with certain modifications if so required. Then all relevant issued pertinent contract conditions relevant to at this stage are discussed in details and instructions are passed to contractors. Standard forms, if any, used by engineer for purpose of formal submission are also handed over to contractor and mailed as feasible. Next site meeting shall be conducted at site office if site office would be ready for review by that time. Then contractor has to move to work on site mobilization within defined contract period and commission of all such site offices to be used. Okay. Contractor has to move to work on site mobilization within defined contract period and commission of all such site offices to be used by resident engineer and staff as well as by contractor agent and staff. All temporary services are provided in all offices, including sanitary, water and offices establishment requirements along with telecommunication. Once mobilization is completed, permanent works can be started. Then contract related permanent works are all disciplines. RCC building works involve many activities that would be shown on level 1 schedule planning from site takeover to site handover. All activities related to all disciplines are included with prime start and complete time limit. Activities are further elaborated on other level schedules so as to control all works within defined time limits. Here, project management plays a very significant part to be conducted by project manager, support of planning engineer. Right. Then all works carried out by site managers based on schedule and day after another progress is achieved, monitored. All works should be carried out meeting contractual requirements without any carelessness. All related staff must be trained for all actions that must be carried out for defined methods and complying with required management of specifications in all respects. Weekly reports are presented by planning engineer to evaluate real progress earned value in comparison to planned schedule. In case there is noticed delay on site progress achievements, methods are adopted to check delays by extending works hours and also by importing additional resources from other sources. Whatever works are produced during 1 month are measured by planning engineer or valuation engineer and payment due statement is worked out for submission to resident engineer. In case approved materials which are perishable are procured during this valuation period, that part value as agreed with engineer, resident engineer, say 70% could be added to works carried out. Then contractual required deduction in line to conditions within contract are deducted from each valuation and final running sum reached and agreed between resident engineer and the engineer and contractor. This valuation is approved by owner on recommendation by engineer for making presentation to contractor. This valuation is approved by owner on recommendation by engineer for making payments to contractor. Engineer issues a payment certificate to contractor for its legal banking purpose whatsoever. During contract execution and prosecution, all divisions and all disciplines play respective roles from leadership office as well as from key personnel posts on site. It's very significant to keep all historical records of contract activities during currency of project execution so that tracing of each record may not cause any problem. It should be remembered that there may be working friendship between staff of resident engineer and contractor on personal level, yet both are different and contractors binding on both owner and contractor. Engineer and resident engineer are not any party on construction contract. Whatever personal level conditions be made should be limited to work activities and not shared by contractual complexities. No personal assurance on contract matters are acceptable to certain extent. Commercial issues are concerned, which all must be covered for protection in wrong, which must be covered for protection in writing only through such writings may be polite and soft script of language. It's not practice in construction must deploy legal personnel, say barrister or advocates to look after contract matters. It's not a practice. All contract matters are looked after for treatment by engineers on site and probably by head engineer project manager who must have deep knowledge about contract conditions and future impacts that contract can receive if issues are not properly addressed for level site level during currency of contract. During dispute resolution mechanism, all records support whatever claims are raised by contractor again honor. If contractual activity records are not so properly managed and recorded by site team, it shall be equivalent to impossible to work on claims raising exercise and possibly claim some would be lost forever. Close claims some would lost forever. Then otherwise there could be 3 years limitation period to move dispute resolution mechanism even after project has been handed over to honor provided notification has been done. Therefore, senior engineers and project manager must be very smart on recording serious activities that could lead to possible disputes in future. Sections on site working for contract position. Personnel belonging to all sections are available on site for purpose to support site manager to prosecute all activities. Engineering team has to work out all design details and review available details for purpose to obtain clarifications of engineering decisions for either missing items or clashing items. Contract section team requires to keep a watch on all instructions coming in from either or resident engineer to ascertain whether or not it constitutes contract variation. Quantity survey team has to provide required quantities for each and every item to be used on project. Land survey team section has to set out all details, points and marking that are necessary to carry out relative civil activities. Procurement materials team's coordination has to pace in requisition for ordering required materials. Planning and scheduling team has to work out relative schedule for weekly, monthly and quarterly requirement. Civil works team has to carry out all activities related to civil building items. Mechanical engineering team requires to work for HVAC and planning and sanitary activities. Throughout, electrical engineering team is required to carry out works during interactivities while whatever activities on whatever items be moving. Quality engineering team is required to interact for inspections, checking out and verifications of whatever works are carried out on site. Document control section team requires to keep complete records of all project documents. Documented information whatsoever in a proper manner, making it convenient traceability as and when some documented information is required. On top of all foregoing sections, project manager responsible and accountable being a leader on project and therefore requires to direct all personnel related to all sections or coordinate with corporate or head office. And then it is performance valuation. These performance valuations and other will talk later on and descriptions. And this is what was Annex SL for RCC building contracting. Before this I had given Annex SL in general and this is RCC building activities. Still 2 points are there. We'll take up later on. There are 10 points in every annexal which I explained to you. And after this we'll take up facilities, that is EPC, and then designs later on. So this is detailed information which is being moved and very important according to ISO 9001-2015 structure. This structure has to be complied with, otherwise it won't be easy for you to move global competition for your company. If you want that, you have to understand this. This is easy but explanatory, and you need dedication and devotion to this. With this, I close this today's talk, and we will see again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.